Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Dave.
And this is Nfgeeks.
And this is our Valentine's Day special.
That's right. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yep.
And for this video, this is a very special video. As you know, we've been giving out a lot of NF love. It's been an NF love supernova for all the temperament types. And this video, we're giving NF love to our fellow NFs. It's incestuous NF love. NF to the NF. And so I want to start off by saying, just making it clear, if you've been watching, in case this isn't clear, there is no objectivity whatsoever on Nfgeeks.
Nope.
This is not research. This is not science. Okay? This isn't a master's thesis. There's no objectivity. In fact, it's completely subjective, totally subjective. And so let me be clear in my subjectivity and own it and love it and relish in it that I love NFs. And I don't mean just myself. I'm talking about other NFs like you, Dave, and the other NFs that we know. I absolutely love the NF personality type, and I love being with NFs, and I love talking about NFs, and that's the whole purpose of Nfgeeks, to sort of relish in it.
Yeah.
And so, since Valentine's Day is from our consciousness, as previously established, let's give a lot of love to our fellow NFs. So, what do you love about the NFs that you know and the NFs in your life, and being with them?
I love just the fact that they can relate to you, regardless of what you're talking about. That everything they say and do is from the heart, and that if you have problems with them, that their advice is from the heart, and that they're only looking to help you in any way possible, And there's something very soulful about them that is really, really awesome. It's just there's just a unique soulfulness that is very noticeable and very loving. I find it, warms your heart to talk to an NF. I find, and it's also a breath of fresh air. I mean, being an NF, you really start to feel crazy about your NFness, and you really start to feel outside. You start to feel like an outsider. So then when you come into contact with other NFs, it's like, oh wow, I'm not crazy, So that's always a great thing, and I love it. What about you, Mike?
What I love about NFs, when I'm encountering NFs and being with them, is their depth. Their really emotional depth of consciousness, of soul. I really enjoy that in any NF I meet, regardless of their class or their gender or their intellectual ability or their professional ability. And I'm not talking about T-ness envy or that I'm somehow a T or something. What I mean is that professionally, as a teacher, I encounter NFs of different educational backgrounds, especially young people who are just out of high school and things like that. But regardless of their education, I find any NF to be very, very deep. And you're able to have a very deep discussion and a very deep relationship with them, no matter what. No matter what their age, no matter what their background, and they'll want to do it with you, and explore your depths. And I think that ability to explore depth of consciousness between two NFs is always a wonderful thing, no matter what. And any two NFs can do it to a certain degree. It's granted some combinations are better than others, but it always can happen and take place. And I always enjoy that journey with any of the NFs, and even us, Dave. This has been quite a deep journey doing these videos. Very therapeutic.
I think so. Yeah.
Absolutely. So doing even this process that you and I have been on is an exploration of that depth. And so I really like that in all of us. And now, are there any specific people or specific types that you want to talk about what you love about them or what you love about that type?
Well, there's two ENFJ friends I have. One female and the other one being Dan that we had on.
That's right, Dan.
And regardless, between the two, they're very good motivators, and they're very good at upping the excitement for people. Very caring, in a very caring and loving way. Like whatever they're doing, they're excited about it, and they're willing to talk about it, and you can tell that they really care about what they're doing and what what they care about, essentially. And I find that fascinating. It's great to talk to them, And of course, with any NF, the use of a metaphor is universal across the NFs, and that's really great because you can just understand them. It's like our own language, you know. And it's great when you're like in the mall or something and you're surrounded by a group of people and you're talking this way, and everyone's like, "What the hell are they talking about?"
Yeah, and listening,
and they're listening too. So it's great. It's something unique to the NF experience, just NF on NF, and understanding that and being able to communicate back to them in the same way is fantastic. But yeah, for ENFJs, it's just the whole excitable, motivating talks that they give, you know, and even to themselves that they'll do that to themselves to help them, and you can help them along, right along. And ENFPs, I find to be some of the easiest to talk to. Maybe this is just because I'm an INFJ, but I find that um, that there's no filter I have to go through. Like, even though I can talk to any NF, and
now, is this true about, because we have an ENFP friend that we share, the Cat in the Hat.
oh yes, the cat in the hat.
Is this true also about the Cat in the Hat?
Yes, like like he'll be interested in what I'm saying, and he'll listen and have a great response to it.
Yeah, he's an Nfgeek. He doesn't even know.
Yeah, I know.
The Cat in the Hat.
We'll invite him.
Yeah,
Eventually.
that's
But
right.
yeah, it's amazing, just how much they care about that and how much they can relate to it. You know, granted, I can get that to some degree with other NFs, but I find the NFP to be the most unique in that sense of relatability. The INFP is very gentle, I find, and I appreciate the gentleness of the INFP. INFP, um, and you always feel safe with them, and you always find that they're listening to you, regardless of what it may be. I mean, they may not have like a response like all the ENFs would have, but you can tell that they're listening and that they really care about what you're saying, and that's wonderful. INFJs, though I have had limited contact with them, I just feel there's a level of contemplation in them that that I guess is unique to them, and it's speaking from my personal experience. We contemplate a lot, but we don't always verbalize it in the best way. It's like there's it's like so much is trying to go through a little tiny passageway, you know, and only so much can get out. Um, but it's always fascinating to listen to the amount that does get out. You know, they always seem to try to word it properly, as I'm doing right now as I talk, always trying to make it as sharp and effective as possible. And I appreciate that even as an INFJ myself. You know, it's great to hear that. So, what about you, Mike?
Well, you know, I want to start with the INFP because, like I said, I have an INFP fetish for INFPs, and I do it.
Yeah.
You know, but I want to start there because you talk about gentleness, and it's true, there is a gentleness to all the INFPs I know. And, you know, in fact, there was one INFP who was nicknamed Calvin Hobbes because he was sort of like Calvin and Hobbes at the same time.
Yeah.
And he was actually one of the founders of the Academy, of our discussion group. Yes, and he was a wonderful example of a male INFP and a male NF, very, very sensitive and gentle young man who was sort of had a great, wonderful, contemplative, spiritual relationship with nature. Not that he was necessarily pagan, it wasn't like pagan stuff, but he used to really enjoy working at parks. I mean, you know, like state parks and cleaning up at state parks and being involved in being in the forest and taking care of the forest, you know, and taking care of nature, and not in an SP way where you're climbing cliffs naked and, you know, jumping into waterfalls, but in a very sort of very sensitive NF way, and a very sensitive INFP way, and he did so quietly as well. You know, he had this sort of gentle quietness to him, and I haven't spoken to him in a long time, and I miss that. But when I think of the wonderful gentleness of an INFP, I think of him, And I think, too, as an aside here, as I'm thinking out loud, that I think it's really hard to be a male INFP because they might actually be the most sensitive of all the NF males. And that's saying something because, we're all very sensitive men as far as men go.
Pretty hypersensitive.
Yeah, pretty hypersensitive. That's why we're being accused of being gay all the time. Although those things don't always go together.
Right.
There's sort of a misunderstanding of sexuality, but that's a video for, we'll touch upon that topic again sometime. But I find that INFP males are very, very sensitive and easily hurt and easily wounded by life, not just personally, but by life. And that worries me because, the world hates sensitive men. And it doesn't. Sensitive men often self-destruct. And I wonder if that's true about the INFP male, maybe finally giving in the most.
Yeah.
And I hope that doesn't, because you're a wonderful, sensitive lot. That's not to dog the INFP women or anything. I love you, even more. But just thinking of this particular INFP male friend, and his wonderful, gentle sensitivity, wishing for it to be protected and honored. In this moment, talking about it. Now, of course, INFJs. I love INFJs, Dave. It's very easy to talk to and be around INFJs. I've always been around INFJs. And again, I also experienced that same very easy discussion, too, from the other end of it. I'm sure the cat in the hat would agree, that it's very easy to deal with and talk to INFJs. And you know what I also like about INFJs personally? I don't know if I ever said this, but you guys, INFJs, all the INFJs I know, laugh at my jokes. And laugh at the right punchline at the right time. Like all the INFJs I know get my jokes. The INFPs are terrible with humor. They can't help it. It's okay. I love you. I'm not dogging INFPs, but it's harder for INFPs, I find, to laugh and get the joke. They have to struggle a little harder.
What do you think that is?
I don't know. There's something about the INFP personality. Like they're really trying hard to be funny. They want to badly and they want to get it, but I find that it's a struggle for them. Whereas, or at least when I'm being funny, they have to sort of sometimes struggle. Like, was he telling the truth? What's he saying? Is he funny?
Do you get the same thing with the ENFJs?
No, the ENFJs also laugh, but the ENFJs also want the spotlight at the same time. So sometimes they're laughing, but they'd also rather be laughed at too. But INFJs always get my jokes, male, female. They always get it, and they always laugh at the right parts at the right time. And I appreciate that. You do too, and I appreciate that, Dave. Yes. ENFJs, what do I love about ENFJs? I love their determination to make us all happy, no matter what, even at our own expense, or even at, our own misgivings. They're on this mission. All the ENFJs I know are on sort of a mission of happiness of some kind for everybody, and they're able to push it through no matter what, and I appreciate that about them. For ENFPs, it's tough because sometimes I sort of have mixed feelings about other ENFPs, seeing them. But I like the way we dress. I want to say I like the ENFP style of clothing. I'm always impressed by the way, I think we're the best dressed of the NFs. I really do. Or certainly we have the best style, okay, in clothing. And I really like the way we all dress.
Yeah.
Dan's mother Dan who was on before, is an ENFP. And I'm always impressed by what she wears. I always think, oh, that scarf, what a good choice. That really matches her jacket.
Yeah.
Only an NFP would be thinking this. But I enjoy the style of clothes. ENFPs, even when it looks like we threw shit on, no way. We thought about it, and we just thought, I want to look like I just threw this on. You know what I mean? But there's always a process of the style we're trying to have, always in clothes. And I like that.
Why would you want to try to look like you just threw this on? What would be an instance? What would be a circumstance where that would be necessary?
Okay, you might be going to a party or a group of people who are not as into dressing up in clothes, and you don't want to be the odd man out. You also want to sort of show that you honor the way they dress. And if they dress in a way that's sort of slumming all the time, you might want to match that. It's kind of like if you're going into the Arabian desert, you dress like the Bedouins. You put on the turbans and you put on the the sheik's clothes or whatever, so that you fit in. It's sort of the same process. We're trying to honor the slum culture, so we'll think about it, and slum down.
All right.
Hey, all right, so we're at the end. So what kind of love do you want to say to our NFs?
Well, I'm probably not going to tell them anything they don't already know.
That's right.
Because we have that NF force, the N force.
That's right.
Telepathy.
Well, have a good Valentine's Day,
Yes.
and if you don't have a Valentine, go find some other NFs.
Yes.
And be with them because they'll understand because it's our holiday.
But we love you.
That's why we love you.
Yes.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Take it easy.
That's right.